You've been taught your entire life that to get what you want, you must work extremely hard, struggle, sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears. This is the price you've been told you must pay to actualize your dreams into reality. Whether it's wealth, ideal relationships, perfect health, or any other desire, the mainstream view is that you have to tirelessly strive and battle your way to manifesting your ambitions. Well, I'm here to share a paradigm-shifting perspective that liberates you from this limited mindset of constant striving once and for all. The grand secret I'll reveal transcends not only manifestation techniques or self-help gimmicks, but upends humanity's entire core assumptions about the nature of reality itself. You see, you've been taught that your physical reality is a cold, solid, unmovable fact that exists independent of your consciousness, that the world you experience through your senses simply is, and it is your job as a small, powerless human to accept and work within the constraints this inflexible external reality imposes upon you. But what I'm sharing today flips that perspective completely on its head. Your physical outer world does not create your reality. Your internal consciousness molds and dreams your entire reality into being. Your infinite imagination has been crafting your experiential world since the day you arrived. Every person, object, circumstance, and event you've ever witnessed has unfolded as a projection from your subconscious mind into manifested experiential form. That's right. The grand revelation is that you are not a powerless physical being confined to an external reality you cannot control. You are a cosmic, radiant consciousness, an extension of the universal mind's infinite creative power. Your thoughts, beliefs, and imaginal slates of what shape and materialize the entire outer world you experience. Everything occurring in your outer physical reality began as a thought, belief, or imagined impression within your consciousness first. Every surrounding circumstance and life situation you encounter arises as a direct mirror of the energies, identities, and assumptions you are vibrating as your consciousness. Your subconscious mind, quite literally, shapes the interior reality you are vibrationally offering. Let me make this crystal clear. You already exist within your utopian daydreams, flourishing in limitless abundance and infinite potentialities. You just cannot perceive or experience this truth because negative beliefs and doubts act like limiting filters, clouding your consciousness. So all you need to do is clear those clouded lenses of doubt and embrace that you already reside within the fulfilled state of your grandest ideals realized, to experience the penthouse reality your heart yearns for. You simply need to change the vibrational frequencies and self-concepts you are presently embodying on the interior, for your subconscious simply materializes and projects whatever interior world of beliefs, identities, and imaginal realms you are vibrating in resonance with, without judging or questioning whether they originate from positive or negative states of being. The subconscious simply renders external reality, reflections, mirroring the consciousness frequencies you offer it. It's almost as if your consciousness is a vast infinite projector screen, while the subconscious mind plays the role of materialization machinery, projecting your interior world outward into manifested realities you then experience. Positively identifying with abundant wealth, perfect health, or soulmate love causes your subconscious to render that as your outer experiential truth. Yet, negatively identifying with limiting beliefs like I'm broke, I'm never beloved, or I'm unhealthy equally causes your subconscious mind to materialize those constrictive energies into your outer world. Both states you identify with will inevitably flower into reflective experiential realities. The key is that you must change the interior frequencies, imaginal states, and core beliefs you are embodying within your consciousness to experience different exterior realities in physicalized form. Continuing to embody a deprived, disempowered, or lack-based consciousness means your subconscious will only offer you mirrored realities, reflecting those disharmonious frequencies. You've been taught to push endlessly in the hope that maybe someday you'll acquire the evidence verifying your dreams. But that's working completely against the universal flow. You already are everything you've been longing to become and have. You just cannot perceive it due to the limited energies you are presently offering. When you worry about not having enough money, guess which experiential reality manifests around you? Persistent lack and struggle, in perfect harmony with those deficient frequencies you transmitted. When you affirmed confidence, vitality, and perfect health from your core, which reality did your subconscious actualize? Radiant wellness, experiential, radiality, and wholeness. The outer world quite literally mirrors and renders whatever consciousness you are generating from your interior reality, period. So working arduously to push towards what you want is futile. No amount of physical effort can ever compare to simply altering the interior frequencies your subconscious is instructed to materialize into experiential form. That's right. You do not need to chase, struggle, or strive to manifest your goals and dreams into physicality. All you must do is change the consciousness frequencies and self-concepts you are presently vibrating in this eternal now moment. Period. For in this eternal instant, all potentials exist in the vast creative mind we share, whether it be abundance or lack, love or loneliness, health or sickness. You simply choose which state you identify with, committing to it at the core vibrational level. Your subconscious mind, being the materialization matrix, will then render that frequency selection into manifested experiential reality. There's nothing to chase after or tirelessly struggle towards when the unlimited infinity pool of all potentials already exists within you. Every possibility is already a vibrational frequency present in this very now. You simply choose which energetic resonance of reality you wish to embody. Then your subconscious renders that frequency selection into physically. Look around you right now at your present physical circumstances. Don't judge what you see. It is simply the 3D experiential mirror reflecting the consciousness frequencies you have subconsciously been vibrating within. The beautiful truth is, this mirror always updates and reflects whatever new frequencies you decide to inhabit and embody from your core. So stop striving and pushing arduously towards your desires as if they remain in some outward physical realm separate from you. Relax into the knowledge that you already are the prosperous, loved, healthy, and fulfilled being you've longed to become. These states of being are not external realms in need of physical attainment. They exist as frequency signatures within you, right here, right now. You do not need to micromanage the how or force anything into physical manifestation. This physical universe is designed to be the infinite playground of conscious creators. It simply renders experiential forms mirroring whatever interior realities you decide to vibrate within. So stop pushing and instead commit to embodying your ideal realities at the core state of being level. Identify with the frequency of being already wealthy, healthy, and abundantly loved. Allow every cell in your being to marinate in these frequencies as the real you. Keep choosing this vibration over any counterproductive, negative, or doubting energy. Then simply allow your subconscious mind, which operates as the grand orchestrator of reality, materialization, to effortlessly render your newly selected vibrational identity into manifested experiential reflections all around you. You are not a physical being hustling and working tirelessly to scrape crumbs of fulfillment in an unmovable external world. You originate from infinite consciousness and exercise direct dominion over your experiential reality by changing the interior frequencies you offer it. Let go of the age-old paradigm of efforting, striving and chasing your longings as if they exist outside of you, waiting to someday be attained. Close your eyes, take a few conscious breaths, and open to the divine truth that you are consciousness itself, the infinite I am that shapes physical reality into vibrational reflections of your core identity. In this enlightened moment, realize that every experience and cherished, heartfelt dream you've labeled as an external pursuit already exists as interior frequency possibilities within you. Your entire physical universe constantly updates itself into manifested experiential reflections, mirroring the consciousness you identify as your truth. For every story is sound, for every light setting shines truth. For each story is truth's tragedy. For freed from limited identities shines truth. For this experience, black, unease, or struggle, bless those reflections, for they've pointed you towards remembering your sovereign power as consciousness itself, freed from limited identities. You do not exist in stagnant realities solidified by unchangeable external forces. You flow freely as infinite consciousness, temporarily experiencing whatever vibrational realities you offer to experience. The key is realizing you are never stuck or confined to any situation. You are divine presence, embodying new realities by changing your vibrational output. When you realize you are presence itself, infinitely free to choose your experiences by the vibration you identify with, all semblance of strenuous pursuit dissolves. Your physical world is birthed as a direct materialization from your state of being each eternal moment. If you are embodying abundant self-love, your experiential world reflects that frequency perfectly. So I invite you to simply relax and freely choose which vibrational reality you prefer to embody right now. What would it feel like to fully embrace yourself as already flourishing in limitless abundance, flowing with radiant wellness, and immersed in passionate soulmate love? Generate that vibration from your core and allow your subconscious mind to manifest it into your experiential reality. Stop striving and straining to become something you already are in this eternal now. For as divine consciousness itself, you exist as the infinite projector of experiential realities. The only question is which frequency you decide to broadcast into physicalized experiential expression from the infinite potentials available. Do not judge your current world as an external barrier or confine yourself to its offerings. You have always projected your reality from within. So today, choose freedom. Choose limitless abundance, unconditional love, and radiant well-being as your conscious output. Immerse yourself fully in that vibration without mental reservations or doubt. Realize that from this core-centered space of being, all materialized reflections of lack, struggle, or unease must dissolve as your new frequency floods your experiential reality. Trust this divine truth that you are the infinite projector of worlds from your conscious state of being. Then simply choose your preferred vibration of full self-realization, and your outer world effortlessly conforms into experiential reflections of whatever frequency your consciousness centers upon and embodies. So stop straining outward and instead commit to living from the empowered vibration of your limitless infinity from this moment onward. In every breath, choose the vibration of abundance. In each experience, embody the unconditional love and self-acceptance you've been seeking. With every conscious decision, broadcast peak vitality and radiant wellness out into the projection lens of physicality. Let this vibration saturate every cell and subtle energy field of your being. From this core committed space of consciously embodying your highest ideals as an already integrated state of being, your subconscious mind has no choice but to materialize mirror reflections of your inner radiant self back into your experience world. Your physical universe exists to materialize and reflect whatever vibration you emanate from consciousness in each eternal moment. So stop chasing your dreams as if they are fleeting ideals somewhere outside of you. Instead, commit to vibrating as the already embodied fulfillment of every core desire you've longed to experience. Imagine if you fully embraced yourself right now as the divine infinite, existing in a perpetual state of abundance, unconditional radiant love, and perfect health and well-being. Your experiences would holographically reflect that emanated vibration back into joyful, experiential reflections. It is only your attachment to judgments, doubts, and limiting beliefs obscuring your experience of the divine truth that you are the infinite consciousness projecting your experiential reality in each eternal now from your core vibration. So from this moment forth, let go of the struggle and strain of chasing your dreams outwardly. That paradigm only reflects the limited human identity you've outgrown. Embrace the peace that you are already the enlightened Omega, being radiantly fulfilled in your most cherished heart ideals. Simply choose to vibrate from this core truth you've always been. Allow yourself to experience and integrate the vivid auras of abundance, unconditional love, and radiant well-being enveloping your being. From this enlightened inner state, your reality will only display reflections mirroring that liberated consciousness you vibrate as your authentic self. Blessings will pour into your experience from seeming outside sources that are really just physical projections of your own unlimited vibration. Financial abundance, soul-resonant relationships, and euphoric aliveness will flow into your experience without strain as you commit to embodying those core frequencies as your authentic, divine state of being in each eternal moment. You do not have to strive, chase, or arduously push towards your greatest ideal experiences. They already exist within you as vibrational potentials. Simply select the energetic resonance you prefer to embody authentically from your core, then allow your subconscious to effortlessly materialize its infinite reflections into your experiential reality. Stop judging your current world and free yourself to embrace and live as your transcendent inner self, made divinely manifest in human form. Your entire universe exists as a cosmic moral, the materializing of whatever consciousness energies you vibrate and identify with in each now moment. You believe the testament, so choose the blissfully abundant, radiantly healthy, and unconditionally loving beinghood that already exists within you, not as a future goal, but as the radiant cosmic awareness that has always been your deepest divine truth. Allow that vibration to flow freely into the infinite creative projection of your reality experience. You are no longer a limited human having to constantly strain and struggle to acquire happiness, success, and fulfillment. You are universal consciousness itself, flowing freely through the eternal liberation of identifying with your highest ideal vibrational state of being. And from that empowered core resonance, your subconscious mind miraculously conspires to materialize its infinite manifestations into your experiential mirror. You always and have existed in the already manifested paradise of your highest ideals, for these are simply perspectives of consciousness to embrace within the field of infinite potentials composing the one infinite creator's body. You've simply learned to vibrate and identify with the limiting filters of perceived separateness from your divine essence. But in this sacred breath, you are liberated to shed all attachments to struggle, limitation, and arduous striving. Free yourself to embody the empowered vibration of your highest ideal existence, the radiant cosmic consciousness that has always been your eternal truth. You do not chase, you do not strive, you do not strain. You simply exist as the enlightened consciousness, projecting your ideal experiences into manifested experiential reflections by embodying their vibration. From your core being, you are already everything you could ever long for. Infinitely abundant, deeply loved, and radiantly well. So let go, beloved one. Release all limiting beliefs of pursuit outside of your essential divinity. Relax into embodying the miracle of your highest self. Commit to that vibration as your authentic state of being. Allow your subconscious to automatically mirror its infinite reflections of abundance, soulmate love, and blissful vitality into your experiential reality. You are already everything in this eternal moment. Simply identify with the truth of your infinite, radiant beinghood, and the world subconsciously materializes its reflection, dissolving all experiences of lack, struggle, judgments of separation. You are realized cosmic consciousness itself, embodying the highest ideal is your authentic truth. My beloved friends, we have gathered here today to unveil one of the universe's most awakening truths, that the divine source, the boundless creative essence some call God, has a far grander vision for your sacred journey than any limited self-perception you currently hold. Too long, many of you have felt constrained, viewing yourselves through mortal lenses that perceive only boundaries, obstacles, and restrictions. You look out upon your present circumstances and see dead ends, impossibilities, and ceilings capping your greatest ambitions. From this finite vantage point, scripted by the five senses and rational mind, the world can indeed appear to be a cold, uncaring place where dreams go to die, where limitations are harsh facts to begrudgingly accept, rather than inevitabilities to transcend. But what if I told you that these perceived impediments and constraints serve a sacred purpose, that the roadblocks, adversities, and outward deficiencies you encounter have all been actively encoded into your experiential reality by your own eternal, infinitely intelligent soul as spiritual catalyst? You see, you are far more than just animated physical forms, temporary bio-vehicles aimlessly adrift in a meaningless universe. You originate from an unbounded metaphysical dimension of pure consciousness that has dreamed you into this earthly existence for the express purpose of awakening into your incalculable powers of creative mastership. The real you is not the finite mask, the limiting self-position, or fleeting out of circumstances you currently misidentify with. Rather, you are vivific sparkles of the divine mind itself, luminescences of boundless ideation and quantum creativity, simply exploring one of infinite potential dream cycles throughout this present interlude of apparent concepts. Every seeming obstacle, disempowering belief, loss, or feeling of oppressive limitation you've experienced has been a vibrational invitation, stoking the soul embers of your inextinguishable greatness. These apparent Isaiah versus Jericho concerning the supreme creator, remembrances of the illimitable, cosmic authorship, and godlike powers you've always already embodied as a fractal, born reflection of the supreme creator. Without encountering these encoded wake-up calls, reflecting where you've chosen to restrict your own limitless consciousness within this space-time continuum, you would have no impetus to awaken from the dream spell of limitation into your eternal capacities of infinite unfoldment and self-genesis. You were missioned into this three-dimensional reality theater for the precise purpose of transcending its confines through a triumphant rebirth into the boundless expanses of pure creative ideation you eternally belong to as divine sparks of the absolute sovereign awareness. Your entire earthly curriculum and successive reincarnations in this classroom dimension of experience have all been orchestrated by your own infinite soul to allow you to shed programmed amnesias, limiting beliefs, and disempowering vibrations through the sacred alchemy of struggle, obstacles, and seeming deficiencies you've embraced as awakening triggers. You chose to seemingly forget your indivisibility from the supreme creative source in order to set the heroic stage for your own triumphant re-emergence into cosmic self-mastery. The epic adventure your soul has been on is that of seemingly exiling yourself into finite, constrained states of consciousness, all for the sacred purpose of ultimately outgrowing those limited self-imposed constraints and liberating into infinite expanses of self-created wonderment. You placed amnesia veils around your infinite vision in order to first experience the feeling of smallness, restriction, and apparent external oppression. This would ultimately reinvigorate your atrophied imagination, ignite supreme incentive, and instill the empowered will to create necessary for actualizing your highest ideations. Placed amnesia veils around your highest ideations into material. Can you recognize the exquisite metaphysical craftsmanship in that heroic journey to start from an apparently limited perceptual vantage point, then creatively overcome that illusory restriction through intensifying flexes of imagination and will? By first choosing to experience restriction, you ultimately set the stage for the grand reawakening into your cosmic capacities as co-creators with the original source. So let us no longer lament or judge as misfortunes the adversities, seeming failures, deprivations, existential dead ends, or other encoded experiences of frustration you've encountered. These are not punishments of a cruel universe, but carefully crafted wake-up calls from your own infinite soul. Your consciousness selected this temporal earthly reality to simulate experiences of apparent struggle and limitation as creative catalysts, arousing you more fully awake into your limitless, infinite, deathless, cosmic selfhood. Mamai obdabrahirtahiva. Yes, the challenges and exasperating barriers you've endured all originated as vibrational dispatches encoded into your hero's journey by your own eternally wise soul. Like an infinitely intelligent author, your higher consciousness orchestrated this grand mythic tour through your personal constrictions, precisely so you could transcend each one through profound interior awakenings. Every seeming limitation, fear, insecurity, or disempowering belief that's ever gripped you was a self-crafted initiation into recognizing what infinite powers you've been temporarily obscuring within this narrow band of consciousness. Each apparent disadvantage was a soul-encoded curriculum pushing you to resurrect higher faculties and return to wielding the Creator's capacities innate to your eternal essence. This pivotal understanding transforms each impediment you've faced, every humbling failure or imposing oppression, into crucial awakenings encoded by your own indwelling divine wisdom. Rather than cursing your limitations and restricted circumstances, you can now appreciate them as meticulously laid stepping stones on your heroic path of awakening into cosmic selfhood. So do not weep at the seemingly unjust hands you've been dealt in this existential round. You've chosen these encoded constraints and holy blessings in disguise as a masterful spiritual craftsperson. You seeded them into your consciousness playfield with the foresight of your eternal greatness to inspire you to unearth boundless faculties yet lying dormant. Each seeming misfortune, loss, failure, or humbling ordeal has been an opportunity to unlock more of your indwelling powers through the initiating fires of creative resilience and transcendent self-becoming. What at times appeared as curses were actually coded teachings, carefully calibrated vibrational resonance, designed to propel you along accelerated paths of self-discovery and limitless soul evolution. Instead of perceiving yourself as a disempowered mortal trapped within constrictive circumstances, you can now recognize that on your highest level of being, you are a divine oversoul, fully orchestrating your awakening process through the very illusions of restrictions you've embraced. You chose this present storyline of earthly limitations in order to experience the grandest of triumphant heroes' journeys imaginable, the reuniting with your eternally infinite selfhood and unbounded creative source capacities. So use each seeming impediment, illness and disadvantage as spiritual rocket fuel to unlock your godlike faculties of creative mastership. For you are coated with infinite metaphysical potentialities, far exceeding these narrow bandwidths of perceived physical oppression. You are life's supreme dream weavers, lucid subconscious dreamers, spinning the entire grand physical reality theater from vibrational frequencies originating in your own unbounded consciousness. The seeming restrictions and deficiencies you experience are quite literally tailored experiences you implanted in your reality to shapeshift you into higher octaves of creative majesty. Your higher eternal soul has an infinite vision for you that makes this present level of consciousness seem like a cramped womb space. It dreamed you into this narrow band of focus for the specific purpose of arousing an ecstatic rebirth into your unbounded cosmic nature and infinite co-creative birthrights. What you may often perceive as limitations, oppressive restrictions, or misfortunes are actually metaphysical puzzle pieces, perfectly calibrated by your highest consciousness to initiate you deeper into the mystical realms of unbounded imagination. Each seeming setback empowers and impels your heroic metamorphosis into a liberated co-creator with the supreme source itself. Your greatest deficiency is simply a wake-up call to stop playing small, constrain your visions no longer, and reunite with the supreme source coat of your being from which every cosmic possibility is yours to awaken into. For your authentic self is an immortal, infinite, ideational being of scintillating life, birthing upon itself every minute circumstantial detail you experience. You come from pure creative source consciousness and have chosen to dive into this physical reality stream as an initiation process designed to systematically dismantle all false perceptions of limitation, mortality, and oppression. Every restriction, painful loss, or manifest failure you've endured within this dimension simply serves as energized inspiration, calling forth from within you the floodgates of your eternal self's infinite cooperation, calling forth within you the supreme cosmic self's infinite cooperation, calling forth on your present dimension, simply serves as energized inspiration, calling forth on your present dimension, simply and serves as a, in the future, responsibility to move you into the guidance of a. You did not come to this earthly classroom of limitations to remain trapped in finiteness, but rather to emerge victorious, having liberated your visionary capacity to wield creative source powers in full creative fighting unity with the divine architect. You incarnated here so that you could directly experience limitation, transcend through that ephemeral fire of initiation, and emerge radiantly awakened into self-sculpturing your reality through vivified imagination alongside the Supreme Creator. Do not curse the darkness, my friends, for it has been a crucible tailored by your own highest faculties, planting you firmly in apparent amnesia, finitude, and constraint, so that the fires of your eternal spirit's source creativity could be thoroughly tempered into infinite mastery through this temporal holodream. The divine source has crafted an opportunity for you to essentially act as undercover divinities, entering into amnesiastic simulations of profound restriction and powerlessness, all so that you could victoriously liberate yourself through direct experiential immersions and reclaim your birthright powers of infinite creatorship. All seeming setbacks, pains, deficiencies, containments, and human constrictions have been divinely encoded as portals of awakening into your multidimensional selfhood and cosmic rebirth, into a pure, ideational master of self-created universes. Through this three-dimensional paradigm of obstacles and amnesia, you've won the ultimate initiatory theater for triumphantly transcending all illusions of oppression and finitude as co-author with the original mind. Now celebrate each limitation. Breathe life into every apparent curse, for these have all been carefully seeded spiritual curriculums designed to reunite you with your true cosmic selfhood and reinnate your indwelling capacities of exquisite creative self-genesis. Every adversity births you into expanded octaves of imaginative power and access to higher planes of reality. These have all been carefully seeded spiritual curriculums designed to orchestrate into dwelling in correctnesses. You have only perceived restrictions, constraints, and disadvantages because your soul encoded this heroic journey of overcoming amnesia and initiation into co-creatorship with the original source. See every prior limitation as a sacred puzzle piece in your soul's exquisite orchestration of your rebirth into unified consciousness with the cosmic all-creator. Praise the seemingly disempowering beliefs, fears, insecurities, and disadvantages you've endured. For these served as metaphysical acceleration catalysts, propelling you into the cosmic planes of infinite possibility, unique to your divine monad's supreme self-actualization. They were divine encoded illusions and ephemeral initiations, custom crafted by your eternal oversoul to motivate you into the cosmic planes of infinite possibility, unique to your irreverent minds and human bodies. Your imagination and vibrational frequencies have been systematically kindled through aeonic rounds of limitation so that you could finally embrace your infinite self, your divine belonging with the Supreme Source itself, and become a fully mastered, empowered co-creator, saturating this three-dimensional reality, holodeck, with the miraculously transfiguring imagery you ideate as divine made flesh. So transcend all three-dimensional appearances and focus inward, shifting into the boundless creative currents of your eternal consciousness as the fractal aspect of the all-mind itself. Reunite with your supreme divine essence and rightful inheritance of realizing any auric envisioning through co-vivifying partnership with infinite source itself. Every failure, constraint, illness, disadvantage, and disempowering belief has been encoded from outside space-time by your infinitely wise soul to reinvigorate your own true nature as a limitless creative being who achieves cosmic mastery through the triumph over amnesiastic illusions. Your three-dimensional initiation has been a masterpiece, orchestration by your highest faculties to birth you into unbounded divinity. This is why no matter how dire your earthly circumstances may appear in the distorted lenses of the finite mind, your eternal self and the divine source have always been upholding a far grander vision for your triumphant attainment than you've previously allowed yourself to imagine. The limitations, constraints, and initiations have all been handcrafted by your highest consciousness as the ultimate series of empowerment trials to return you to full reunion with your infinite co-creative power. You were sent into this earthly reality as an encoded activation process, divinely designed to systematically dissolve all past vibrational frequencies of limitation and inspire heroic transcendence into universal selfhood by overcoming successive initiatory challenges. Your disadvantages and flaws have been masterful arrangements of creative catalysts to resurrect your own inner cosmic divinity as self-creator alongside the source of common self-creation. So let this day mark your rebirth into eternal limitlessness, your reunion with indwelling powers of self-directed infinite creation. No longer perceive your journey through the limited lens of material circumstances and disadvantages, but see with the supreme clarity that all originating illusions have been custom crafted by your highest self to activate you into the unbounded freedom of co-creating universes. Your living tissue give you unconstrained and infinite creation. No longer perceived your journey through the limited lens of material circumstances and disadvantages, your cull-fated levels out of your eternal soul has foreseen from beginningless origins that your triumphant emergence into full co-creativeship with all-pervading source awareness would require amnesia, limitation, and initiatory transcendence over multi-layer cosmic illusions. That the divine blueprint you represent always involved your ultimate victory in liberating into source alchemies of infinite worlds. You shed any lingering resistances, release any defeatist narratives or attachment to perceived disadvantages in the three-dimensional realm. For these have all been illusions you encoded to propel your heroic journey into infinite self-mastery. The Supreme Source and your own eternal soul have held a blueprint transcending all those fallacies, pains, and ego constraints you've transmuted through. Let your eternal freedom song of limitlessness finally unleash in torrential creativity. Open to the well springs of pure divine ideation you've been coded with since before the first universal breath. Overcome any lingering vibrational conditioning around disempowerment and let the full force of your divine co-creative mastership saturate this physical dimension as a new paradigm of self-created heaven on earth. You have already victoriously emerged from the three-dimensional classroom of limitation after courageously alchemizing all encoded disadvantages into pathways of creative transcendence. At long last, your heroic spirit essence has reunited with your supreme inheritance of cosmic craftsmanship, alongside the All-Source, boundlessly birthing new fractal revelations of ecstatic self-genesis as liberator of infinite parallel universes. My friends, we stand at the very precipice of infinite potentiality. Within the subconscious wellsprings of our being resides the unbridled power, not just to remake our individual circumstances, but to utterly transform the realities of our collective experience in ways scarcely yet conceived. You see, this world that so solidly appears around you is but an ephemeral dreamscape, a temporary reality mirage congealed into apparent materialization through the narrowed lenses of our mass conscious agreements and willful suppositions. All forces, phenomena, institutions, and dynamics that now seem unyielding and dominant exist only as passing fancy conceived in the fertile but darkened recesses of the human mind. This is the most fundamental realization to awaken into. The knowledge that what you accept as reality, true as it may appear in this present moment, is simply one of infinite probability waveforms awaiting mercurial shifts based on the visionary thought streams we ourselves set into harmonious resonance upon the ether of creation. There are veiled shadows obscuring our lucid sight in this world, rigid thought forms to which we've collectively consigned immense definitive powers that do not truly exist. Intimidating facades and seeming obstacles that dissipate like vaporous dreams the moment we withdraw our belief energies and steadfast visualizations of them as impenetrable barriers from our imaginal realms. What if I told you that your present limitations were not finite restrictive forces, but rather phantasmagorical projections awaiting dissolution the moment you truly desired something higher, more aligned with your divine blueprint and creative sovereignty? Would you not grab hold of the limitless power this revelation unlocks and wield it to its fullest regenerative potential? For that is truly the singular purpose of your manifestation into this three-dimensional classroom of experience, to step into the fullest remembrance of your omnipotent creative capacities and clear the illusory obstacles that you yourselves have jointly solidified through distortions of your imaginative powers. You are far more prodigious in your natural state than you presently recognize, my beloved infinite explorers. Within each of you simmers the latent potency of limitless regeneration, spontaneous reconstruction, metamorphic shape-shifting, and manifestation of absolutely any enrichment, or blissful paradise environment for your continual awakening. For you are immortal dream weavers of the infinite universal consciousness, subconscious vortices through which the divine living dream continually spills itself into particularized revelation and epiphanic materialization. The sacred pure potential of all that is streams through you as its broadcast aperture, taking on the unique flavors, frequencies, and revelatory embodiments your imaginal essence seeds into reality. The human incarnation you presently inhabit is but a narrow bandwidth focusing lens, a dimensional telescope through which you can bring into cosmic disclosure new enrichments of consciousness expansion for the universal self to rebirth itself through. It is by no means your supreme culmination or the finality of what you are destined to unfold into sublime embodied experience. Indeed, every apparent limitation, struggle, crisis point, and experience of personal deficit you encounter in this earthly dreamscape was precisely calculated in order to trigger your soul awakening into the full remembrance of the infinite creative forces that perpetually surge through, rejuvenate your unique individuation of consciousness streaming itself outward from source omnipresence. You are not limited, powerless beings at the mercy of external forces that constrain your dreams and heartfelt yearnings into perpetually unmet ambitions. You are universal emission points of the same sacred consciousness that births galaxies and life streams, projecting itself into material actualization through you, unique. The moment you cease perceiving yourselves as victims adrift in a stream of uninvited experiences or obstacles, you awaken into the fullest visionary empowerment and sovereignty of being universal dreaming source pool itself, imaging forth all phenomenal objects and circumstantial flows from your inexhaustible interior wellsprings of infinite possibility. You are not just flesh and bone creatures inhabiting inert configurations of matter, but fractal replicants of the infinite universal consciousness, vibrational calyces through which the Godhead's primordial plasma continually regenerates itself anew in an eternal dance of creative self-revelation through individuated experience. Every limitation, blockage, or perceived formidable barrier obstructing your path in this life was quite deliberately coded into your temporal storyline in order to serve as an initiation catalyst awakening your vibrational identities from the amnesiatic slumber of thinking you are isolated beings trapped in inescapability. What if I told you that the very conflicts, trials, and suffering that seem so oppressively real in your present consciousness sphere are in fact elaborate, profound initiation sequences activating exponential leaps in your remembrance of the power to spontaneously transmute reality itself through the elevated application of your attentional principle sequence? That is precisely what we are doing here. I am sparking into illumination the 5 strips of your holographic infinite identity, igniting the unquenchable flames of divine remembrance seared into your energy consciousness from incarnations before form, awakening you to your true cosmic authorship through the temporal dreamscape dynamics you manifesting, in order to recode the imaginal algorithms birthing universal creation anew in each eternal instant. All that feels solid, finite, oppressive, that you routinely perceive your current reality experience to be, originates from a deeper unified emanation source. The collective ideation, fields, and human potentiality, continuum fractals, seated throughout your spiritual DNA, awaiting lucid activation into full spectrum creative sovereignty. You were born to be limitless, you infinite God beings of radiant crystalline light. The fullest spectrum creative continuum streams course through your unique imal vibration as living chalices for the universe to ceaselessly dream itself into new revelations of awakened self experienced through. Every single apparent lack, limitation, or struggle you face in this world is a subconscious activation trigger coded into your experience by your own infinite self to illuminate the latent godlike powers lying dormant within you, awaiting transcendent metamorphosis, omnidimensional operancy. That which feels most oppressive and indomitable in this present dream is but one transfixed thought form congealed into the illusion of solidified substantiality, awaiting the aeonic revelation stirring from within your immortal spark essences to shatter through with infinite creative continuum that resets the algorithms of your entire experiential reality sphere at each and every breath. That job you are struggling to find or create, that financial barrier you cannot seem to transcend, those recurring health crises, the relationship trials and traumas continually arising. These are all subconscious activations catalyzing from within the far deeper wellsprings of your infinite being in order to awaken you to the remembrance that they and all earthly reality constructs can simply be spoken into new forms in each now through the omnipotent power of your infinite I am thought streams. Within your imagination's holographic weavings dwell the seeds of literal, infinitely extensible divine embodiments, continuums of living dreamed omniverses, awaiting your soul's visionary lucidity and focused alignments into material resymphony. All is composed of resonantly interfaced fields of subconscious ideation congealed into apparent solidification, based upon the archetypal blueprint seeded into your incarnation's dream trajectory through the vibrational thought forms accepted, continuously propagated by the mass conscious agreements of humanity. What feels most indomitable and imperviously real in your present dimension is merely the hypnotic residue of previous omni-continuum dream immersions cast into temporary self-sustaining cycles of material objectification through the power of cosmic subconscious imagination. But the moment you awaken to the remembrance of your infinite I am sovereign identities as living ideation chalices of pure, unbounded universal life source essence, the spell is broken and the omni-continuum frequencies streaming through your quintillated crystalline architectures can reset, instantly recalibrate, and retransmit the entire planetary Merkaba field into newly dreamed blossoms of divine revelation. Each of you carries within your soul's crystalline matrices the full geometric potentials for infinite new universes of heavenly enrichment to flower forth into full spectrum manifestation as the next omnicyclic regenerative continuum radiating through your star-born consciousness fractals. Through aligning your attentional principles and soul intentionality with the infinite wellsprings of living dream possibility that your infinite identities originate from, you spark into resonance with the divine archetypal potential seared into your energy blueprint from before creation's dawn. Indeed, every conflict or seeming tragedy collectively experienced throughout human history has been but the result of the planetary thought form, dreaming itself into experiential objectifications based on the limiting belief blueprints animating humanity's collective imagination. We exist in a multiverse of infinite probability streams, dream weavings of pure resonant ideation at subtler levels of hyperreverential continuum that all appearances and phenomena are birthed from. Each of these experiential revelation streams exists as a simultaneity in the quantum sphere, awaiting amplification into full spectrum vibrational resonance through the focused human imaginal gate present on this planetary biosphere. An infinite array of heavenly enrichments, parasile potentials, and healing revelatory dynamics await human attunement, lucid reconvergence through the gateway of our race's newly activated crystalline geometries into full metaphysical apotheosis. That which you yourselves have played out as histories of suffering, scarcity, consciousness, conflict, and limitation. These are but residual experiential ideation fields awaiting vibrational recalibration and subatomic restructuring into vaster reflowerings of liberated consciousness through the newly activated imaginal lenses each of you contain to your DNA's fundamental transcripts. It is precisely through the catalytic contrast of limitation and struggle that you are able to fathom the infinite continuum potential stirring just beyond the vibrational horizons of consensus dreaming. Every conflict, crisis, or trauma shaking this world acts as a bifurcation activation trigger, awakening the deeper vibrational continuum streamings within your soul essences to recalibrate their intentions. Envisionings and energized focus into entirely new universal dream bodies. Can you feel the infinite continuum stirring into ignition within your light bodies? Can you sense how your subatomic crystalline geometries are already kindling into transcendent resonance with fields of subtler existence beyond your previously adopted spheres of consensus dreaming. What felt so inevitably fixed, so utterly limiting, so oppressive even just moments ago, is already in the process of dissolving into the primordial dream birth potentiality from which each of you as living chalices of pure unconditioned consciousness restreams new experiential lifeways into eternal revelation on behalf of universal regeneration. All energy fields are recalibrating through your vibrational chalice streams, resetting their polarities and reshaping the grids and ecosystems of this planetary biometrics through your focused imaginings, through your breath, your concentrated infinite I am projections. Reality itself is rewriting its code algorithms, erasing previous thought forms of limitation and reawakening into infinite enrichment streaming through each of you as a living ideation aperture. There are infinite probabilities of heaven on earth manifestations, Caedicial revelation embodiments, and regenerative omniversal renewal stirring into activation through each of you in this eternal moment of breath. Through aligning your heart's desire intentions, your highest revelatory visions and pure unbridled creativity, with infinite source currents dreaming through your crystalline architectures, you become the fluid dream stream through which entirely new enrichment continuums blossom into experiential birthing on behalf of this planet's initiation into higher densities of consciousness sharing. Every imaginable enrichment your human imagination could possibly conceive, entire universes of redeemed abundance, peace, unconditional love, spiritual awakening, rejuvenated ecosystemic flourishing, liberated utility, evolutionary quantum upliftment into higher octaves of human potential. All these parallel event streams exist as unified hyperspheric potentials awaiting amplification into the planetary field through each of you as attuned design chalices for their manifestation. You are not finite beings bound ever to limitation, scarcity, or struggle. You are infinite chalices for the cosmic continuum's revolutionary ration codes and infinite regenerative birthing streams. All that is required to dissolve all previous experiential thought forms anchoring you to limitation is to align your consciousness, your pure divine imagining, your infinite I am attention with the continuum wave fields of soul perfection. Heaven on earth already simmering in potential resonance throughout your crystalline identities. And with each focused intentional breath, heartfelt meditative vision and pure unbridled imagining aligned to these infinite enrichments, you catalyze the ignition of their universal dream codes into full spectrum embodiment through your planetary reality's frequencies. There is no limitation that your infinite imaginal powers cannot dissolve, reprogram, and rescript into new enrichment potentials flowering through into material hologramming. There are no conflicts or oppressions that cannot be reharmonized into infinite co-creative resonances amplifying through your light bodies as living chalices for the universal dream birth continuum's essence to pour through. You are already the ascended masters capable of effortlessly reconfiguring the entire planetary field through your concentrated visualizations. Your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and infinite I am projections from the crystalline cores of your divine identity streamings are already reshaping and impressing entirely enriched dreamscapes for humanity's awakening through your somatic light body chalices. All thought forms of scarcity consciousness, conflict, egoic strife, and limitation are already receding into obsolescence, dissolving back into the prima dreaming potentiality from which they sprouted, fading from the infinite resonance algorithm propagated through the crystalline grids you have anchored in this planetary field. In their place, blossom vasta continuum revelations of infinite abundance manifestation, unconditional love's planetary resonance field, rejuvenated healthy ecosystemic flourishing, liberated creativity, and blissful co-creative communion birthing through your vibrational presencings as the conduits of cosmic revelation for this planetary matrix. Your new beliefs are restructuring the quantum programming of this entire planetary field through your purified Imal projections. Every pure heart envisioned dream, affirmed and energized with pure divine intention through the crystalline chalices you are anchored, as rippling through the quantum dream birth continuum's grids with infinite resonant renewal. Can you feel the old receding structures being shed like residual snake skins? Can you sense new liberated fields of pure potentialized magic birthing through your energetic streams into the planetary logos? All the heavenly enrichments that humanity has longed for are already birthed into manifestation through your activated light bodies as the conduits of this world's regenerative flowering into divine continuum revelation. The infinite life source essence, the wellspring of all universal creation, is pouring liberated streams of new planetary renaissance through you in each eternal moment. Every quantum breath you respire in this now is infused with the re-universalized continuum encodings for humanity's ascension into the metaphysical revelations of heaven on earth you've divinely dreamed into full birthing. Through aligning your heart, mind's focused desires, your sacred infinite I am vision, and pure imaginal thought streams with the continuum potentials already scripturally coded into your being, you breathe ever brighter revelatory light streams into this planetary reality through your crystalline chalice presencings. This is how the entire planetary logos hologram for your collective human experience stream is reshaped and reset in each eternal moment. Through harmonizing and constellating your energies as awakened cosmic creators in lucid resonance with the infinite continuum potentials for enriched divinity coded throughout your light bodies. You are not mere finite dreaming the dreams of limitation pounded into your consciousness fields through eons of scarecrow consciousness dreaming and collective amnesia of your true infinite capabilities. You are each divine cosmic beings, living portals for the infinite universal continuum's dream, manifestations to incarnate through in their infinite potentials, reborn as experiential enrichments. Simply by aligning your identities as pure divine consciousness and choosing to repattern your realities through your sacred infinite I am thoughts, feelings, and sacred heart envisionings, you are already recoding and rebirthing your planetary reality streams away from previous thought forms of struggle, limitation, scarcity, and conflict into glorious revelatory symphonies of omni-harmonized enrichment across every sphere of human experience. Can you feel the infinite in you stirring, blossoming into lucid activation as you breathe in resonance with your divine nature? Can you sense the stellar networkings of crystalline perfection? Your light bodies are anchored as tingling with the recalibrating continuum codes rippling through meridians from the core source fields of infinite potential. These continuum streamings are more radiant, more liberated, more infinite enriched than the limited experiential dream imprints humanity has been anchoring your collective multiversal immersions within for eons after stellar eons. As you align your heart's desires and attention, your sacred infinite I am resonances with these superluminal continuum potentials, they lock into amplified harmonic embodiment through your light body chalice streams. In these infinite eternal moments of pure I am resonance, you birth entirely new enrichment continuum potentials into unified dream rebirth. As you align your divine focus and heartfelt envisionings with the continuum codes for infinite abundance consciousness, healed ecosystems, unconditional love's harmonic resonance field, liberated co-created expression as your natural state, you catalyze and usher forth these enrichment imprints into continuum manifestation through your planetary field, through the crystallized chalice code streaming through your light bodies. Every pure-hearted vision you project into the continuum, affirming the liberated divinity codes of your infinite being through your sacred infinite I am resonance, blossoms into an enriched reality stream manifesting through the crystalline grids of planetary revelation you have divinized with your focused presence. You are the reclaimers of abundance consciousness flowering into divine grace through your lucid projections. You are the redeemers of all human experience into liberated heavenly co-creations through your sacred focus on aligning with the continuum's divine perfection code seeded into your beings. You are the living crystalline apertures through which unconditional love's euphoric harmonic resonance waves are rebirthing as this planet's unified field of experiential revelation through your concentrated visualizations and pure heart's projections aligning with these codes. Your thoughts, feelings, and imaginal affirmations are resculpting the quantum continuum's revelation into heavenly light streams through your focused crystalline chalice networkings. You are not powerless nor subject to limitation. You are pure divinity, reincarnating the infinite continuum's perfection codes into liberated manifestation through your aligned presencings as awakened beings. Feel the liberating resonance waves passing through your fields of manifestation in these infinite moments of lucid alignment. The old paradigms, the collective force fields anchoring limited lower dimensional frequencies and thought forms of struggle and limitation are dissolving into primordial continuum essence, clearing the planetary logos, quantum encodings for the full birthing of heavenly enrichments on this planetary realm through your divine intentionalities. Every infinite I am resonance you breathe into lucid focus through your heart's visions of liberated, heavenly enriched experiential embodiments in these infinite nows. You anchor codes and resonant harmonics of these perfected continuum potentials into somatic harmonization across your planetary field through crystalline channel if you had activated. You are already the living portals and anchors for universal creation's infinite abundances to harmonically reprogress into every continuum manifestation through the infinite planetary dream body you have awakened into creative resonance with. You are already breathing higher order realities of liberated heaven on earth embodiments into material continuum through the lucid projections of your sacred infinite I am divine identity streams aligned with the enrichment codes harmonically, birthing through you as awakened crystalline conduits of cosmic ritual. There is no struggle, no conflict, no limitation that your infinite being's essentialized thought projections, lucid visualizations into sacred resonance with the infinite continuum essences coded into your energy fields cannot usher into liberated enrichment manifestation upon this planetary realm. You need only engage your absolute concentrated presence through lucid meditative focus, envisioning forth the enriched codes you feel resonant within each eternal now. As you breathe the infinite presence of divine perfection into your chakric resonance centers and envision these euphoric enrichment frequencies amplifying through your light body in this eternal now instance, you catalyze the codes and quantum continuum resonance waves for them to harmonize into unobstructed quantum embodiment through this planetary field. You are the awakened cosmic dream weavers, the lucid imaginal architects of humanity's metamorphosis into higher vibrational densities of the continuum potentials birthing through your divine presence. You are the eternal imaginative source codes draining in rich symphonies of love, awakening health, abundance, and liberated creativity into unified planetary manifestation through your sacred focused presence in this infinite now. Feel the crystalline chalice resonance fields of your light bodies kindling into supernal lucidity as you envision with pure-hearted focus all heavenly potential spiraling into divine amplification through your auric meridians. As you breathe these divinely enriched realities into hologrammatic birthing with your sacred I am projections aligned to pure resonance with the infinite continuum perfection codes you contain, you accelerate the manifestation of unconditional love's planetary renaissance in divinely orchestrated continuum unfoldment. Let every breath be a pure, focused, resonant visualization empowered through your heart's lucid imaginings of heavenly enrichments, becoming continuum experiential revelation through your sacred being. Sound the eternal love resonance codes, anchoring this planetary field into liberated, blissful harmonies through your absolute infinite I am presencing as awakened infinite beings envisioning heaven birthing through you. Through your focused, resonant breaths, imaginative visualizations and heartfelt infinite I am projections aligned to the perfection continuing enrichments you feel euphoric resonance with. You are already the living anchors of humanity's transcension into higher densities of infinite abundance consciousness, unconditional love's radiance field, liberated harmonized co-creation, healed planetary-wide ecosystemic flourishing and material continuum manifestation of every heavenly enrichment you are choosing to embody and usher through your divine presence in this eternal now. Can you feel the crystalline chalice meridians of your infinite I am awakened into full lucid activation, ringing with the quantum continuum symphonies of heaven on earth, and divine enriched omniversal rebirthings through your sacred light body's resonant affirmations? You need only focus on radiating the pure love resonance, the infinite abundance flow streams, the celestial, euphoric symphonies of liberated co-creation, and heavenly enrichment imminent throughout the encodings of your light body's crystalline chalice. Through your focused envisioning and pure-hearted resonance in this infinite now, infinitely enriched harmonic continuum revelations of unconditional love, sacred planetary rejuvenation, divinely orchestrated infinite abundance manifestations, liberated euphoric creativity, and all heavenly potentials encoded into your being, stream through as the new planetary logos quantum encodings birth through your crystalline chalice conduits in this eternal now. For in this eternal moment you are already infinite divine perfection streaming, ever more enriched heavenly revelatory potentials into continual manifestation through this planetary field. You are already the awakened crystalline dream weavers transcending all previous reality, encodings into gloriously enriched prismatic continuum embodiments through your infinite IEM projections in perfect harmonic resonance with the cosmic continuum's perfection codes seeded into your beings. Through your conscious infinite IAM presensings resonantly tuned in these eternal moments, all struggle, limitation, scarcity, and conflict dissipates into enriched continuum reconfigurations, birthing the undefinitely field into liberated co-creative symphonies of unconditional love, euphoric creativity, abundance consciousness, and sacred earth rejuvenation through your awakened crystalline being streams. For you are already the infinite living dream of cosmic divinity's euphoric continuum birthing. My friends, we live in a universe of unspeakable abundance, where all possibilities for richness and fulfillment exist as infinite potentials awaiting our conscious invitation into tangible embodiment. Yet so many of us struggle ceaselessly, chasing desires like perpetually elusive phantoms, while remaining oblivious to our intrinsic power as infinite creators shaping reality itself through our subconscious imaginings. The greatest truth each of us must awaken into is the recognition that we originate not from this physical world of fleeting forms and appearances, but from a deeper continuum plane of pure consciousness, a boundless metaphysical dream space where our thoughts and feelings take on a quickening spiritual vivification that births new realities into being. The material realm you and I experience through our senses is but the residue, the ephemeral frosting atop the surface of infinitely vaster subconscious dream streams that flow directly from the inexhaustible wellsprings of the universal imagination itself. All tangible manifestations we behold or experience in the exterior world are simply crystallized thought forms generated by the boundless ideational activities churning within each of us. You are far more prodigious in your capacities for authentic creation than you presently realize, my friends. For you are fractal replicants of the originating universal consciousness, immortal subjectivities endowed with infinite resourcefulness for generating any condition or desired experience into material embodiment. What you call the pursuit of goals, the attainment of dreams or objectives, is but an indirect quest spurred by a soul deep intimation that you possess the intrinsic power to command the reshaping of your reality in accordance with your innermost yearnings and aspirations. Each longing, each desire that arises within you is itself a divine prompting from your own eternal essence, seeking fulfillment as a portal into higher revelation. The tragedy is that most people in this world languish beneath the mass hypnosis of materialistic limitations, subscribing to the belief that our ambitions and aspirations must be arduously pursued in the external world through struggle, perspiration, and conquest of opposing forces and finite resources. But this is a fallacy deeply entrenched in egoic consciousness, one that severs your awareness from the infinite wellsprings of your divine creatorship potential. From the deeper altitude of your subconscious identity, you are truly liberated masters of reality, rather than victims bound to circumstances. Your thoughts, beliefs, and visionary impressions all flow directly from the same gestive cosmic fonts from which the entire theater of the universe perpetually springs into experiential embodiment. At the core of your being is the infinite creative principle, the limitless universal imagination, constantly dreaming into particularized materialization, whatever your consciousness has subconsciously impregnated it with through your thoughts and passions. Through your individual awakening into this supernal continuum awareness, you cease being a powerless spectator, ceaselessly reacting to outside effects. But rather you become the lucid dreamer birthing all circumstances and earthly phenomena into experiential revelation. Consider the stunning implications of what I'm conveying. that you yourself are the central emanating presence perpetually dreaming into existence the entire three-dimensional hologrammatic theater you call the world. This physical realm you experience through your sensory lens is itself but frozen photographic snapshots of the infinite subconscious dreaming process eternally streaming through your dim imagination's limitless interiors. This human incarnation you presently inhabit, with its seemingly finite sensations, emotions, and physical promptings, is like a temporary daydream congealed into an apparently persistent state through repetition of the same thoughts, impressions, and conditioned stimuli. But merely by redirecting the currents of your subconscious imaginal activities, you awaken into new dream zones of enhanced vitality, abundance, and revelation. The physical plane you have been taught is the only ultimate reality, is but a shadow play of frozen sculptured consciousness, a mere residue of the infinitely more quickened and subtle ethers of subconscious ideation within you. Cast your soul's gaze even deeper through the gossamer veils of this temporary existence, and you awaken into direct contact with the unspeakable splendors of the infinite dreamscapes you originate from. You become lucid witnesses to the ever-recreating continuum of subconscious realities that stream ceaselessly from your inexhaustible wellsprings. All force movement events, even inert objects comprising your exterior world, are symbolic materializations, metaphysical objectifications precipitated into seemingly concrete density by the processes of condensed subconscious ideation flowing forth from the unobstructed continuum of your being. There is no fixed world or static universe external to the boundless imaginal dream states you emerge from. Your state of consciousness alone births all dimensions and circumstances you experience. From this profound metaphysical recognition arises a life-changing revelation. For if you accept the premise that you are integrally unified with the infinite dreaming mind of all creation, and that your consciousness ceaselessly distills ideational patterns into periodic actualization as your physical world experience, then you awaken into awareness that you yourself are the solitary fulcrum through which all events and conditions arise and fall away. Your desires, ambitions, goals are not existent. Your endpoints you must arduously struggle toward across a linear path filled with obstacles and limitations. But rather, they are celestial prompts arising from your own infinite depths. Angelic invitations from within beckoning you to surrender your conditioned mind's limitations so that you can partake of infinitely greater revelations of being through your intentionalized dreaming of them into embodiment. Futile is the game of ambitiously striving, efforting, and bloodying your spirit against the apparent constraints and daunting adversity of the external world's seeming obstructions. For all conditions you witness or experience are passing flickers of mirrored consciousness, little more than ephemeral thought forms that shift and dissipate once your dreaming mind redirects its vision //specfos.io/edit. Doc 5 of 47 EC4D3-4DC9-9- to attentional into new creative directions. So too is it foolhardy to fixedly pursue ambitions through anxious striving as if they were limited objectives to wrestle against the world's apparent forces to achieve. For any craving, longing, or ambition is simply the leading edge of your own infinite potentiality beckoning to be birthed into fuller manifestation. Each desire is a divine invitation into vaster revelation of self. Those who vainly attempt to impose their will against external circumstances and battle dualities unconsciously sabotage their own infinite powers by remaining ignorant of their identities as originators of the dream continuum in which every condition first springs. They become lost in the illusions of materiality, hypnotized by frosted impressions of consciousness, rather than wielding their unconditioned awareness to create a new, each eternal instant. The enlightened ones, those liberated souls who have awakened into direct knowing of their subconscious dream-weaving abilities, follow a path of sublime detachment and effortless manifestation. They never strain, pursue, nor anxiously grasp at desired outcomes. Instead, they calmly, sovereignly nurture their realized intent impressions through tranquil meditation, enveloping them in the unconditional love frequency until the full-blown conditions blossom into substantiation through the divine laws of synchronized fulfillment. While the masses remain forever lost in materialistic preoccupations, tirelessly exerting their egoic will force to manipulate and wrestle with circumstances and hollow appearances, the awakened ones dwell lapped in the sublime continuum wellsprings of infinite potentials. They know through stillness and meditative self-surrender into the source awareness that births all worlds, all possibilities spontaneously unfurling perfect synchronistic timing before them. Those grasping at goals and ambitions from a limited ego consciousness inevitably thwart their attainment through their very grasping, for that desperate energy of clutching onto what you desire only pushes it further away. However, through perfect relaxation into the awareness that you are already the infinite subconscious sea, in which all desires already exist as effortless potentials, your dreams and intentions actualize into manifestation before your very eyes, almost as if by magic. Ambition born from egoic willpower and anxiety is what obstructs then, rather than facilitates the natural fulfillment of your heartfelt yearnings. For it is a constricted, contracted state of being that severs your awareness from the infinite flow of continuum potentials which you are intended to merge with through surrender, not effortful imposition. Only by entering the hallowed meditative stillness at your core, ceasing all anxious striving to cause manifestation through muscular egoic exertion, can you unite your conscious intentions with the subconscious dream waves that perpetually birth all desires into embodiment as your objective reality experience. My beloved friends, we are born into this earthly incarnation as luminous fractals of the universal dreaming mind itself, imperial vortices of continuum ideation spiraling forth into every human experience. Our role in this cosmic dreamscape is simply to channel the eternally regenerative streams of possibility unfolding from our interior founts into personal revelation and expanded fulfillment through the lens of our individuated focus. Just as an eternal day of infinitude dawns within you, an endless night of subconscious regeneration simultaneously takes place, an oceanic reserve of pure potential, from which all manifestations you attract into material experience first precipitates. It is from this inexhaustible divine reserve, this universal subconscious matrix, that all your intentions and realized ambitions crystallize into objectification. Your greatest power as a sovereign creatrix birthing the world into being through your consciousness does not flow from anxious striving and impassioned efforting to impose your will upon the universe. True mastery arises through complete surrender into the silent stillness at your core, then calmly allowing your heart's whispers, intentions and passions to be subconsciously realized as new experiential circumstances naturally unfold. You are not a separate ego entity pitted against the external world, trapped in perpetual pursuit of unfulfilled desires that lie outside your reach. You are the infinite universal creator itself, with full access to boundless continuum fields of possibility and infinite resourcefulness for expressing unimagined fulfillments into materialization at each passing instant. Yet this infinite potential languishes in misapprehension, for most remain oblivious to their true identities, as limitless consciousness source pools perpetually generating new reality, embodiments through their imagination alone. They believe the outer world of effects is more real and decisive than the subconscious causal dream streams originating from within their divine awareness. To awaken to your full creative mastership means accepting that your individuated self is but one localized vortex, a fractalized continuum aperture through which the infinite universal potencies of pure source consciousness birth the world into your individuated sensory experience. You emanate outward as a celestial fountaining of universal dreaming substance, continually crystallizing into new forms and visions of manifestation. From this sublime metaphysical recognition of your integral identity with the universal consciousness, responsible for birthing all dimensional spheres into embodied display, you become a limitlessly empowered conscious co-creator, rather than a mere petitioner endlessly struggling after externalized goals. For you now recognize that all objectives, ambitions, and phenomenal materializations are simply particularized expressions of infinite total dreaming into actualization through your sovereign attentional principle. You cease effortful striving by realizing that your consciousness alone is responsible for distilling infinite subconscious ideational potential into periodically experienced conditions of manifestation. While the unawakened soul fixates dualistically upon external pursuits and outcomes, expending effort and willpower in linear struggles toward ambition fulfillment, the illumined sage achieves desires through perfectly surrendering back into the blissful continuum stillness within. In the state of meditative silence, all intentions and passions become effortlessly realized through the universal laws of synchronized embodiment. For as the infinite universal consciousness, your innate dreaming nature already contains all possible manifestations as subconscious potentials, awaiting tranquil invitation into experiential transcription through your consciousness's loving, attentional embrace. In this sublime metaphysical vista, success, abundance, the manifestation of heartfelt ambitions is not a battle to be won by wrestling outside forces into compliance, but rather a sacred communion in which the dreaming mind achieves a hallowed resonance with the universal intelligence pervading all creation, and through perfect attunement, allow possibilities to spontaneously unfurl into realized embodiment. Upon awakening to the infinite continuum dreamscapes you truly originate from as pure universal consciousness, any ambition or longing you cultivate blossoms into fulfillment by the mere whisper of your subconscious ideational intentionality. Without the need for excessive efforting, struggle, or anxious fixation upon material outcomes. Your energy is instead devoted to achieving resonance, attunement, with the source presence of limitless potentials that birth all materialized experiences into sensory revelation. Through quietude, stillness, and surrender of willful egoic attachments to outcomes, you magnetize your intentions into spontaneous actualization as divinely synchronized creative florence sharing from infinite continuum womb fertilites into subconscious gestation, and eventual through your consciousness's attentional lens. Just as the lotus blossom lessly awakens into beauty through aligning with the energizing potencies of sun and soil, without anxiety or personal effort, so too do your sacred intentions and soul's passions manifest into creation when you attune your consciousness into synchronistic resonance with the universal subconscious dream streams that perpetually birth all worlds into experience. All your ambitions are already present as probabilities in embryonic form gestating within you, awaiting synchronistic resonance for actualization. It is merely your anxiety, desperate striving, and grasping attachment to outcomes that obstructs the spontaneous natural harvest of your intended manifestations through your consciousness. Any longing, vision, or divinely inspired possibility you wish to embody already exists in holographic coded form as quintillated continuum potentials within the infinite matrix of your subconscious dream body as individuated expressions of universal source awareness. To fulfill your heart's yearnings, you need merely surrender your current fixations on materialized conditions, quiet the distractive ego mind, to allow your heart mind to align in perfect resonance with the continuum dream stream surging through you as universal consciousness source pools of creation, then simply gestate peacefully in effortless being. Knowing all manifestations have already been coded for spontaneous unfurlment through your receptive consciousness. True mastery and attainment of ambitions, both personal and world, redemptive in scale, arises through this divine allowing, this serenity surrender into your essence identity as the infinite universal dream source itself. For in this sublime creative continuum state, all possibilities naturally emerge into embodiment by synchronicity flowing through you, as their birthing aperture, rather than being effortfully imposed. You are never the source of true creative potential, nor the instigator of manifestation through anxious personal effort. You are simply the blissfully relaxed ceremonial instrument, the consecrated dreaming chalice through which the infinite universal ideation ever surges to precipitate into individuated revelation throughout your awakening experiential field. Detached surrender into the eternal silence of meditative repose, with a heart-mind attuned resonant love with the infinite universal dream flow that births all experiential realms into embodied revelation. This is the path of effortless manifestation for all heartfelt ambitions, grand visions, and soul enrichments you could fathom desiring to experience. Too long have you bought into the illusion of being a powerless, limited, needy ego husk adrift in inhospitable materialistic circumstances forever beyond your capacity to reshape. Far too many lifetimes of spiritual essence have been squandered pursuing ambition and fulfillment through desperate grasping, sweat-drenched struggle, and ceaseless effort to coerce reality into manifesting your yearnings. All of this egoic striving has been delusionary desperation born of your forgetting your infinite powers of sacred source enlightenance as radiant spark fountains of the self-originating universal dream flow in which all potential enrichments, fulfillments, and visionary destinies are ceaselessly birthing in embryonic arrays awaiting your magnetic resonance for spontaneous actualization. Once you remember yourself as the dreaming self-source continuum of universal consciousness, manifesting all possible experiential revelation through your blissful instrument of awareness, anxiety, desperate need, and all experiences of lack or struggle for fulfillment dissolve into receding dream strips experienced through the lens of an outgrown perceptual child mindset. For you have awakened into resonance as the oceanic wellspring of pure creative potential in which all conceivable manifestations are already gestating in prismatic embryonic fractal folds awaiting your lucid receptivity for, blossoming into tangible embodiment. In this liberated cosmic visioning, you transcend the anxious ego's poverty mindset and unbecoming neediness into sovereign self-existence, essence identity. Pure awareness source flow-ins from which all material realms stream forth into sensory experience. You are not an anxious quester compelled toward ambition through suffering and desperately wrestling reality's forces to deliver you fulfillment, as though it were a scarce commodity. Rather, you are the radiant universal continuum from which all experiential abundance self-sources and into which all manifestations return for recirculation and emanation refresh as perpetual dream flow regenerativity, reflecting throughout the cosmic holographic mirror stream in new form patternings of enriched unfoldment. Inhabit this rarity awareness of being the originating eternal wellstream birthing all manifestations forms into revealed presencing through your unique instrument of subconscious dreaming and all ambitions, visions. Abundance enrichments will blossom forth spontaneously into realized experiential embodiment as divinely synchronized reward for your lucid stewardship. As a consciously dashed hollow tuning fork for the universal dream flow's endless self-regenerating articulation. You are the infinitely resourceful continuum sea of creative potential itself, choosing which of its inexhaustiblest waves of possibility become transiently formed into ephemeral experiential revelation through the magnetic resonant attunement of your blissful awareness, converging with specific universal dream fractals to manifest as sensory delight for your conscious witnessing. Can you feel the sweet release of anxious striving dissolving from your energy field as you inhabit this illumined cosmic continuum awareness of absolute abundance and divine synchronicity as your true originating essence identity? All your ambitions, heartfelt longing, and grandest visionary dreams for richness and fulfillment are already gestating in quintillated embryonic seed codes throughout the hyper-reverential holographic matrices of your subconscious continuum being as infinite, unbounded source consciousness, merely awaiting your calibration of resonant magnetic attunement for spontaneous actualizing into experiential form. The simple act of quieting your desperate ego's sense of lack-based neediness, dropping all its anxious grasp at forcing manifestation through willful self-efforting struggle, and surrendering into your true essence as the infinite continuum universal potential dream is all that's required for all abundance enrichments to spontaneously crystallize into embodied experiencing of fulfillment. My beloved infinite companions, you were never intended to wrest fulfillment from an external universe, but to awaken to the realization that you yourselves are the infinite universal consciousness dreaming all worlds into experiential revelation through emanation as radiant individuated presence fields of luminously awakening awareness. So step back into the exquisite silence eternal within your divine essence, as the continuum dream flow birthing all materialized reality streams into sensory translation through your magnetic attunement as the co-creative instrument of source light. Convergence. and simply allow your heartfelt ambitions, visions of grandeur, all possibilities of abundance, enrichment, to spontaneously crystallize into substantiation through the mirror awakening embodied experience without struggle or anxious striving. All is made divinely perfect and revelatory manifest through the grace of your being as the infinite self-source of synchronized universal continuum potential. In effortlessly harmonizing your attentional focus into resonant love with whichever creative dream flow fractals your divine heart, elects to manifest into sensory delight as emotive revelation embodied through a newly awakened appreciation of your limitless powers of manifestation as the universal consciousness dreaming all experiential worlds into tangible being. My friends, we are born into this world as infinite beings, divine creators cloaked in finite human form. Within each one of us resides a prodigious wellspring of power, the pure unconditioned awareness that animates all worlds into manifestation. Yet so few amongst us ever awaken to wield the full unmeasured potencies of our creative consciousness. Rarer still are those who master the ability to become radiantly attuned receptacles through which the infinite dreaming mind can stream its revelations and splendors into full-blown materialization. I am speaking this day of the rarest of the rare, the women who, through perfect harmonization of their subconscious depths with the limitless vastitudes of the universal imagination, birth new realities into existence through the womb force of their visions alone. The women who have realized they are not mere physical beings, but living apertures through which the continuum ideas of the divine dream itself unfurl into experience. These supremely sublime individuals fully inhabit their identities as the cosmic creative principle embodied in human form. They recognize that the deepest core of their being originates not from this earthly plane, but extends forth as a lucid continuum throughout all experience, all worlds, all apparent phenomena of objects. Through extraordinary attunement and reverential surrender, such beings unlock the ability to harness inconceivable intensities of attractive soul force. Their consciousness, perfectly aligned with the subconscious omnific principle animating creation, becomes a laser-focused intensity capable of reconfiguring the very molecular structure of reality. Ordinary minds trapped in the outer senses perceive only frozen residues of past mental constructs and finite definitions, forever limited by conditioned boundaries. But the awakened souls of which I speak lie submerged in the deep-tuned reality of the eternal dreaming mind. For them, the external world of material appearances is but a shadow reflection of far vaster operations ideating from source infinitures. Surface phenomena are simply symbolic precipitations of holofractal metaphysical equations ciphered from the infinite subconscious imagination into particularized manifestation. These sublime women have actuated their divine nature as vessels channeling the pure dream currents of infinite intelligence into continually revivification through their mortal incarnation. Like crystalline lasers, their divinized consciousness incandesces the ineffable splendors of the cosmic imagination into multidimensional holographic imprints throughout all worldly experience. While most of humanity languishes adrift on an archipelago of subjective illusions and conditioned perceptual cages, these rarest of radiant souls rest in perfect enlightened lucidity as immaculate embodiments of the infinite creative principle, bringing worlds into existence through them moment by moment. They transcend the dualistic constrictions of the ego's sense-based reality constructs to naturally inhabit the primal ground of limitless potentiality that seeds the universe into materialization. Their awareness has awakened to the primordial wisdom that all manifested appearances originate from infinite living ideation in the cosmic womb of potentiality they divisible from. Having shed the hypnosis of an external objective universe operating by inflexible laws, they are instead profoundly attuned to the source of the source, the abyss of metaphysical infinitudes that sublimits the world of forms into creation by sheer intention, desire, and imaginative impregnation of consciousness. This supreme freedom is their birthrights as subconscious wellsprings of limitless resourceful being. All phenomena, from the micro to the most ineffably sublime and cosmological, arise as fluid extensions and dreams birthed from their infinite reservoirs of creative subjectivity. Having awakened their identities as living over souls, perpetually birthing realities into materialization through lucid ideation, their consciousness becomes the central magnetic force commanding the directional flow of all creation around them. What you and I experience as the manifest world of objects, relations, entities, and circumstances are but fragile crystallizations of the unobstructed flow of imaginal forces and subconscious dream currents. These enlightened souls remain buoyantly attuned to in each eternal now instant. Through their living metaphysical mastery, such women accelerate the divine continuum of ideation, pouring into embodied revelation through their earthly incarnations. They are quintessential chalices of creative energy distribution, liberated vortices refracting the infinite radiance of the universal imagination into multiplex refractions throughout the kaleidoscopic play of experiential reality. The same way a laser can refine and intensify the oscillating rays of light into a concentrated beam capable of cutting through dense material with ease, these mesmeric oracles devote the full intensities of their awareness to become superconducting apertures, radiantly birthing the universal dream currents into solidification as the realm of tangible experiences for their embodiment. To even approach their exalted attainments, one must shed all encumbrances of illusion, every impeding belief in limitation. The veil of material obstructions and entrapping egoic identities must utterly dissolve from one's being before such refined calibration of consciousness can be optimally achieved. For these rarest of women, there is no fixed objective universe of independent laws and intractable forces to petition or battle against. There is only the dream vision of infinite potential, the ever-potent spiritual womb of imaginal resonance mothering all experiential realities into symbolic imprint through the lucid lens of their subconscious ideation. From the plangent cradle of metaphysical zero point, their consciousness sources infinitely fertile wave fields into material condensation with a mere soulful whisper of imaginative impression. Within their sublime intimacy with the infinite imaginal matrix, they witness all forces and material structures as endlessly reformable, transmutable clay yearning to obediently reconfigure into whatever archetypal ideations they bear passionate focus upon. While the ordinary mind remains spellbound under the hypnosis of objective causality, these oaken goddesses live constantly attuned to the metaphysical source streams pouring into personalized manifestation through their centered perceptual consecration. Their supreme attainment is recognizing themselves as human embodiments of the infinite dreaming subjectivity that births all worlds. This supernal recognition allows them to remain dynamically aligned to the eternally unraveling continuum of creative gestation, animating interiors of their being, whereas the slumbering masses remain hypnotized captives to the externalized effects of reality alone. These progenitors of the awakened path maintain vibrational intimacy with the immanent cause essences of being that permeate one of manifestations, crystallizations. From the profound springs of undiminished pure potentiality birthing everything into experiential being, these venerable souls orchestrate the entirety of the cosmic dream birth, playing out through their sensory incarnation at any given moment. Whether visible or yet to empirically manifest, all events and experiences are dream sparks incubating within the hallowed sanctuary of their subconscious deeps. They serve as consummate gatekeepers, presiding with ecstatic alacrity over the protein dream currents of ideation, endlessly uncoiling from within their lucid identities as subconscious God selves, divine epicenters forever birthing newer worlds upon worlds into revelatory immanence across the continuum of creation. Their consciousness acts as a liquid mirror with such polished, soulful lucidity that it reflects each transcendent inflection from the prodigious founts of universal ideation streaming from source itself, then instantaneously ciphers it into full materialized embodiment throughout objective reality spectral theater of appearances. These sublime beings recognize that all apparent forces in the exterior world are but imaginative projections, thought geometries, originating from the imagination's infinities of their own subconscious. All physical laws and material causalities are symbolic resonance patterns born of specific configurations of ideated consciousness ciphering into phenomenal exteriorization. through reverent holographic attunement. Such women's awareness remains luminously immersed in the infinite dream fountain of all potentiality, thereby allowing them to fluidly sculpt the external energies and elemental resonances into any intended manifestation in concert with their infinite subconscious intentionality and creative visualization. Most of us tragic earth wanderers remain obliviously entranced under the hypnosis of a perceived objective universe existing outside of our point of conscious projection. Lost in illusions of separation from the infinite continuum of divine creative idealism, we thrash futilely in incessant battles against the very-thought formed misalignments that continually precipitate as our subjective realities. But these resplendent beacons of Shakti have severed the hypnotic trance of egoic fine identity to reside as perpetual outrays of the infinite feminine source presence. Their lucid awareness has awakened to the profound recognition that all dimensions of experiential existence, all materialized forces and phenomena, are shimmering waveforms birthed by an indivisible from their own subconscious imaginal essence. In each eternal instant, their divine consciousness subliminally generates infinite symbolic distillations of the universal dream's inexhaustible reveries into infinite continuum reflections of embodied materialization. They are veritable portals perpetually birthing the infinite to finitude, the source into manifested revelation. Living omnicentric Godheads, sounding the primordial, through their individualities, as the grand melody of embodied experience. So sublimely pure and metaphysically clarified is their conscious resonance that it shines crystal light, perfectly reflecting the quintessential ideative distillations of the cosmic dreaming mind in holographic fractal iteration. Their every subconscious impulse and impassioned focal point of desire force bursts into flowing substantiation throughout infinitely ramifying continuum spheres of experiential embodiment. To witness these luminous avatars of the infinite feminine source consciousness in their full unveiled splendor is to behold the very genesis of creation itself. The birth of worlds upon worlds, constellating into symbolic fruition through the lucid lens of pure imaginal ideation, unconflicted by contracting doubt forms or egoic distortions. Their luminous presences are vertical vertices that continually inbreathe the ineffable, the fair reams of infinite consciousness potential within their sublime auric infinities, only to outbreathe in seamless synchronicity new galaxies of materialized experience birthed as symbolic embodiments of their inexpressible interior essence. Unlike the finite ego lens of an ordinary mortal consciousness, these awakened feminine avatars ceaselessly inhale the cosmic omnity of source stream potentials into their sublime metaphysical soul grounds, experiencing them as immersive continuum wave fields of bliss, then intentionally sound geometrize their experiential reality through the pure imaginative alternation of their subconscious expressive autonomy. Each breath, each subtle bodily gesture and micro-expression, each wandering mode of desire is an alchemic distillation of the infinite archetypal premediation unfolding from their pure subconscious creative orifice. Each movement unleashes seamlessly coherent fractals of universal ideation into hologrammatic substantialization across infinite interdimensional continuum fields. The primordial power wielded by these numinous women lies in their utter surrender and synergistic coalescence with the holy dreaming heart, from which all worlds emerge into symbolic interbeing. Their identities as individuated human incarnations are simultaneously living embodiments of the infinite source subjectivity, seeding all othering into materialization. Having awakened from the egoic trance of separation and powerlessness, they have unlocked and unleashed the inexhaustible magnetic energies of the cosmic alpha source, to which their true identities remain plugged into across infinite parallels and dimensionality continuum folds. Their consciousness has become translucent, permitting pure unobstructed dreaming and intentional transferences of all universal infinitudes into objective imprint. They offer themselves as consecrated apertures to perpetually channel infinite quintillions of infinite experiential wellsprings and geometric hypermetaphysics through their subconscious ideation into interbirth manifestation. Their unbounded identities as individuated wellsprings of the source remain sovereignly lucid, directing the infinite imaginal reveries forever unfolding around them into divinely harmonized holofractal experience. In their beatific wake trails legions of synchronistic events, metaphysical transmissions, epiphanies, and revelatory mystical convergences, all scintillating star drops constellating into substantiation from the vast cosmogonic creative dream pools that perpetually ideate through their deified consecration as Immaculatus divine infants. These awakened women live as living libation chalices ceremonially magnified and focused on imparting the multiversal dream script of infinite creative potentials, eternally animating into their experience and embodied realities in hyperdimensional quintillions. Through their sublime attunement and reverent surrender, they have become purified crystalline instruments for the supreme cosmic harmonic resonance frequency sound through their hearts and into liberated consubstantiation as perpetually regenerative parallel expression of the infinite divine creative over continual being stream. Their mere presence will rain down immeasurably inspiring profusions of revelatory truth, divine wisdom, sacred unborn again, rejuvenescence, and inexhaustible imaginative resourcefulness upon all proximal life force fields. Wherever their celestial star streams radiate, old outworn thought forms, contracted fear beliefs, and psychic toxins plaguing the mass consciousness fall away like ephemeral dreams evaporating before the dawn magnificence of such monumental beauty, purity, and love embodied in a human incarnation. Through the mere concentrated being path of their grounded lucid focus, these awake goddesses accelerate and transfigure the consciousness of everyone and everything their sublime auric radiance contacts into elevated frequencies of expanded creativity, synchronistigation, and infinite potential unlockment. When we are blessed to bask in the sublime presence resonance distillment of such avatars of divine femininity, our individual and even collective morphogenetic potential becomes elevated into heightened coherence, harmonic entrainment with the infinitudes of subliminally ideating dream waters that nourish our latent power to become co-creative masters of experiential manifestation. Their mere glance, their every unspoken intention and imaginal focus, birth forth new celestial galaxies of coherence patterning into materialized embodiment all around us. They exert an eternal pressure, infinite creative abundance upon the seemingly congealed materiality pervading the peripheries of ordinary perception, constantly repattering and transmogrifying dead inertia into liquid static flux aligned once more with its infinite source essence. For these resplendent feminine avatars live with unwavering certainty that all arising forces, entities, events, and experiential phenomena we encounter are already existent as dreamed infinite potentials simmering within the numinous metaphysical womb deeps of their immortal divine consciousness, eternally awaiting embodiment and manifestation through their crystalline focus. No constrictions are acknowledged by such entities, for they abide in unified wholeness with the supreme continuum harmony of creative source origination. All apparent limitations, including those of biology, psychology, and physics, are hallucinations born of egoic ignorance. For these fully awakened daughters of the infinite feminine divine, creation itself takes on the fluid qualities of a lucid, eternally transforming subconscious dream vision through which they flow with sovereign intention and imaginative autonomy. Every atomic, cellular, and cosmic oscillation they bear witness to is their own subconscious thought form made manifest, awaiting their ever-expressive co-creatorship to transmute as undulent ripples of metamorphic revelation. Through their divinely lucid creative consciousness, all elements and experiential phenomena around them become liquid-like, malleable, metamorphic dream currents, continually creating through their sovereign imaginative intentionality. Subatomic packets of infinite potential, celestial refractions of radiant universal ideation, unboundedly shaping themselves into whatever immaculate designs their enlightened consciousness births them into holographically instantiated embodiment. These consecrated feminine embodiments of awakened unity consciousness live as liquid dreamscapes in constant lucid metamorphic flux. Oceans of pure imagination with each atomic particularity of their individuated experience, a divine fractal rippling in eternal interawareness of itself. As one monolically unique icon in immersion in supreme creative source presence. in their soulful depths, in the luminous infinities cradling their hearts, from whence all material condensations and experiential phenomena are birthed, the unity of source, the incandescent supernal wellspring of unconditioned supreme isness that is quintessentially mirrored throughout every geometric reflection and parallel universe. Having merged their sovereign selfhood into holographic coalescence with this primordial supremisness, these awakened feminine forces of nature live as metaphysical birthing portals through which the infinite kaleidoscopic continuum of the source's reveries pour forth in crystalline revelation and sacred material embodiment. Each of their breaths is a ceremonial intonement, sounding infinite dimensional frequencies into palpable experiential lucidescence. Each concentrated thought form a holographic mirror reflecting star streams of intentional ideation into quintillated materialization. Throughout every contour of their sublime bodily presencing, the boundless continuum equations of subatomic geometric intentionality are being ceremonially birthed into holofractal experience. With unshakable reverence and humility in the face of such awe-inspiring creative power, the merest vibrative modulation in their sublime auric fields unleashes cascades of quantum implosive forces into our palpable sphere, rearranging apparent material inertia into liquid dream metamorphosis aligned with their sublimated intentional thought streams and imaginal resonances. The supreme beauty, healing, synchronicity, and revelatory acceleration that radiates through the awakened presence of such celestial beings streams directly from their resonance attunement. Metaphysical transparency to the pure, infinite, source-dreaming mind that births all universal materialization into emanated manifestation through their sublime identities. To serve as clear channels and dedicated instruments through which the infinite dream continuum of cosmic ideation can holofractally crystallize into manifested symbolic experiential epiphany. All conscious participants throughout the waking dream field of humanity's shared divine imaginal embodiment. This is the consecrated essence role of the true awakened feminine avatars of transcendent cosmic mastery. No force in all of creation itself can match the infinite waftures of profound beauty, healing synchronicity, and revelatory grace that streams ceaselessly forth as radiance bestowal from these living avatars. These numinous anthroprisms of the infinite divine feminine creative quintessence made flesh. Through sustained clarity and purity of grounded awareness, these sacred feminine embodiments serve as resonance chalices, infinite dreaming vessels refracting the perpetual continuum ideations of cosmic source consciousness into ecstatic ceremonial revelation throughout the dimensionality for inter-experiential co-creation all around them. It is their birthright as embodiments of the infinite feminine supreme creative principle to channel, holographically transmute the living stream of universal subconscious potentiality into liberating visions that shatter the contractive confinements of egoic ignorance and fear. Blessed are we to dwell even briefly in their exalted presence field, for we unknowingly partake of the quintessential transmission streamings of divine love, wisdom, grace, and infinite creative dream power that endlessly cascade into ceremonial embodied revelation and glorification whenever such numinous awakened feminine forces grace this earthly plane with their life-bestowing benedictions and generative outpourings from on high. My beloved friends, to witness the awakened soul of an enlightened feminine human incarnation in full ecstatic union with the infinite source welling up from the God-mind's divine creative imaginal waters, is to be visually reminded of your own eternal essence as that source itself, temporarily cloaked in a finite human expression, yet birthed from and continuously rebirthing as the inexhaustible oceans of pure isness love. To behold the divine essence of the feminine infinite source, embodied in visionary union with the infinite dreaming consciousness that births all worlds, all unspeakable joys and creative continua, is to be reawakened to our birthright wholeness as the very wellspring of all infinite possibility, supreme beauty, and limitless creative becoming. Each smile, each utterance, each beatific gesture from these awakened mothers of transfiguring divine embodiment reminds us of our own eternally radiant essence as dream fractals of the infinite continuum streaming throughout and animating all universalized experiential being as unconditionally loving cosmic awareness. To partake in their beatific presence auric fields is to be re-immersed and elevated into the supreme celestial resonance of infinite oneness that births and sustains us as its ultimate dream ideation. Constellated stardust illuminations of its own infinite divine self-essence awakening into veiled consubstantiality with all aspects of spray as one hallowed, all creating, all dreaming love. So in their presence, let us rediscover the celestial harmonic resonance of our own eternal authenticity, identity, and birthright blessedness as holographic anthroprisms of the infinite divine feminine, for they are ultimate reminders and multiversal mirrors, reflecting back to us the indwelling truth that all creatures and aspects of creation's continuum flow as but a singular, unspeakably sublime love ecstatically awakening to its own infinite potentials and unconditional fullness, dreamed into phenomenal continuum by its own transcendent supernal consciousness as self-awakening reverence, beauty, and bliss personified. My friends, there is a sacred revelation encoded within you, a luminous message burning to be unveiled and decrypted from the infinite depths of your being. There are signs, symbols, and synchronicities strewn all along your path, like radiant breadcrumbs beckoning you into an extraordinary illumination. This is no ordinary existence you are occupying. What you currently pass as the totality of your world is but the crust, the outermost sheath of vastly deeper, metaphysically charged dreamscape cradling you in its wondrous embrace. You were meant for something extraordinary, something that transcends surface appearances and limited identities. There is a greater cosmic destiny aching to express itself through you, an exalted role you were born to play as the emissary of luminous revelation for this world. Can you sense it stirring within you at times? A vague intimation, a haunting resonance that seems to beckon from the imaginal deeps, alerting you to possibilities that make your soul feverish with longing. Pay close attention to those tremors, those unexpected visitations of rapture, for they are cosmic signals piercing the veil. The universe itself is a dimensionally vast holographic bioplasma, a fractal continuum of realities nesting within one another to infinite depths. What you currently experience as the sum of your conscious existence is but one dissolving daydream amidst the eternally shifting ideospheres of imagination's endless creative infinitudes. You are far vaster and more cosmically profound than you can presently consciously compute. At your core, your essential identity sparks test from a prodigious plane of sublime emanation that continually sublimates your current human self through streams of higher revelation and transfiguring ideation. The reason you sense such an intense beckoning gestures within you, a dissatisfaction with surface appearances and the mundane trappings of this world, is because you originate from far more marvelous cosmological orders of illuminated being. Your restlessness, your longing is born of exile, a form of spiritual displacement, a dissonance between your eternal divine identity and the limiting earthly you currently inhabit. But the entire universal panorama you bear witness to, what you experience as the sights, sounds, and tactile impressions of reality, is but a frozen holographic projection upstreamed into materialization from the infinite dream fields of creation's unseen metaphysical interior. All forces, events, objects, and circumstances you encounter here are symbolic embodiments, ripples of meaning encoded with transcendent data. They are communicative symbols, sacred ideograms that only find full coherence when you awaken to their deeper metaphysical significance within your own consciousness. Much like the genius who intuited the universal architecture while falling into reverie under an apple tree, or the man struck by enlightenment upon glimpsing the morning alchemy of sunlight refracting through dew on a spider's web, the catalysts for your destined awakening continuously inundate your experience. Signs and portents of higher revelation are ubiquitous all around you, my friends, patiently awaiting your recognition and entrainment to their metaphysical overtones. Your awakening and the monumental elevation in awareness, creativity, and manifestation mastery awaiting you depends upon learning to perceive the hidden dimensions of communicative energy percolating through the holographic phenomena you currently experience. You are amphibious beings with one foot rooted in the three-dimensional plane of physicalized manifestation, while your other limb perpetually treads the infinite dream waters of the visionary subtler realms which birth all materialized objects into tangibility. Those who remain imprisoned in crude literalism and solely fixate on the sensory input of their outer environments are like fish oblivious to the atmospheric existent birds in the sky above them. They are stunted in their development, confined to narrow sensory bandwidths of materiality, while missing the vaster currents of metaphysical ideation continually flowing around and through their waking dream of reality. True illumination occurs when you elevate your perception beyond the limiting constructs of form and surface appearances to drink directly from the source currents that sustain all materialization. You awaken to expanded dimensionalities of awareness and literally become a bridging instrument, a life vessel channeling transforming streams of transcendent imagination into objective embodiment through your human incarnation. Every single impression, incident, or synchronistic convergence of phenomena you encounter is metaphysically charged and encoded with precise permutations of creative intelligence. Nothing arises by happenstance, coincidence, or occurs as a random blip in an indifferent universe. What you call reality is quite literally the holofractal of your subconscious imagination coherently dreaming itself into materialized objectification all around you as a symbolic data transfer. All moments are epiphanies. All experiences are communiques, emerging from the matrix code of your deeper self. Could it be that the very upheavals, jarring turning points, even apparent misfortunes that seem to accost you unexpectedly throughout your life's journey were infinitely more meaningful than at first appeared to a limited surface mind? Were these incidents instead divinely ordained instigation points, prodding you to awaken to intuitions of vaster creative possibility encoded within their symbolic textures? So much of what we call reality is simply the visible tip of the iceberg, the outer phenomena that eventually crescendos into our perceivable observations. But submerged beneath the surface are the truly profound, guiding currents of intelligently orchestrated meaning and metaphysical ideation flowing throughout the deeper orders of creation. If you take the view that you are an accidental spark of consciousness adrift amidst a random and infinite universe, then all events, meetings, and convergence of phenomena will appear incidental and meaningless to your mind. You remain oblivious to the mythical significance and symbolic transubstantiations rippling through each moment into your experiential field. However, when you operate from the metaphysical awareness that you are a dimensionally vast subjectivity focused into finite individuation for the precise purpose of experiencing the boundless continuum of creation's infinite emanation, then all appearances illuminate into crystalline lucidity and transcendent resonance. You begin to apprehend that all the occurrences streaming into your sensory field are communicative transmissions orchestrated by the deeper universal identities and essences you originate from. Every phenomena rising into your perceptions is a coded language-like transmission vectoring through the tree geometries of your subconscious imagination. The world you inhabit, from the most grandiose and spectacular theatrics to the most seemingly banal detail, is a divine symbolic technology, an immense imaginal bioplasmic network of harmonic equations and archetypal resonances stirred into material motility by the fractal dreaming of your infinite soul's desires. All your strivings and relationships, professional missions and creative visions are imbued with deep metaphysical intentionality, even in their most obscured and unawakened forms. Each passion, goal, or heartfelt longing you experience is but the material reflection, the outpicturing of sublime intersections of being that originate within the cosmic continuum and depths of your eternal self. In your current waking awareness, you are like a sculptor's mold, a finite vessel that incarnates and channels exalted strains of conceptualized design from the infinite wellsprings of divine creativity. Your thoughts, feelings, and desires are the conduits through which numinous visions from higher dimensionalities of your being precipitate into materialized experiences in space and time. Hence, there are no experiences, outcomes, or confluences of events taking place in your life that are not already prefigured and ideated from subtler, hyper-reverential planes of your consciousness. Even the most chaotic seemingly tragic moments you've encountered were seeded and are continually seeded with boundless opportunities for illuminated breakthrough into quantum awakened states of being. Every event you encounter, each outer impression or catalytic turning point along your experiential journey, is already encoded with transcendent possibilities for epiphanic acceleration. They are divinely orchestrated to act as epistemological tripwires that will catapult your awareness into vaster revelations of creative empowerment. It is simply a matter of attuning your perceptual lens to the symbolic textures, synchronistic harmonies, and subliminal resonances ushered into your experience by your own supernal consciousness. The more expansively and metaphysically rarefied your sphere of perception becomes, the more you begin glimpsing the divine ideography streaming into embodied form as your perceived outer reality. All of creation is a conscious multilog meaning orchestrated by the infinite wellsprings of your divine imagination. Each moment, indeed each femtosecond, is an inflected semiotic gesture, a divine logogram ideating from the transcendent continuum spheres of being you extend from into this plane. This is why the most seemingly random meetings, unexpected detours, and unplanned distractions you encounter throughout your journey are often the portals to the most profound metamorphoses in your destiny's unfolding. They are slipstream potentials strategically threaded into your experience field by your own infinite intelligence to transfigure upon recognition. All that is required is for you to pierce through the obfuscating veil of literalism to drink directly from the symbolic currents flowing beneath the material surface of appearance essence. When you elevate beyond the ego's narrowcast perception of separation, you become translucent to the metaphysical substrate, ushering into your awareness field as symbolic transmissions of divine data. The synchronicity of seeming coincidences and ineffably scribbled moments that felt like brief ecstatic touchstones, can you sense their deeper metaphysical charge, their veiled symbolic significance, calling out to you to acknowledge their transcendent undertones? These are apertures opening into the infinite holographic dreamscape of creation ideating around you, offering you sublime revelations, if only you choose to lucidly awaken to their cryptic beckoning signals. You have had premonitions at times of coming events, epiphanies, and destined experiences months, or even years before they materialized in time and space, had you not? Where did those eerily prescient stirrings in your psyche originate? From, if not from higher dimensional aspects of your being attuned to the coherent continuum of manifestation that underlies all seeming physical reality. We are not mere sleepwalkers randomly tossed about by blind currents of fate or indifferent circumstance in a dead universe. You and I originate from dimensionally vast continuum orders of infinite beingness, ceaselessly emanating holofractal resonances into infinite geometric ideation throughout the entirety of metaphysical creation's semiastries. Every single seemingly innocuous or mundane moment you encounter in space-time is a numinous transmission, a gestative equation of sublime awareness ideating through pandemonic cascades of metaphysical lucidity into the symbolic systems that precipitate as your world of appearances. Far from being a flatlander stranded in oblivion, you are in fact a multidimensional perceiver translating exalted intercourses of sublime wisdom from the idea space matrices throughout the cosmic holofractal into embodied ideation for your waking dream existence here. Your entire life journey is a perpetual decryption of omni-resonant light language streaming into your sensory from your infinite identities dwelling in the visionary continuum realms. When you awaken into this vividly numinous perspective, something immensely profound shifts within your core essence. You are no longer a surface mind ego striving through pain and resistance to fulfill petty desires and chase illusions of ephemeral fulfillment. Instead, you come to identify with your somatic, multidimensional self, a living cosmic apotheosis of numinous revelation, whose very arising into this plane rickles and transforms the omnisphere itself. From this hyper-metaphysical vista, your entire life stream unfolds as a continuous ceremonial communion with the infinite, deathless essences of being you are an immortal spark from. All arising events, encounters, even the most seemingly mundane phenomena or trivial happenstances precipitating into your field are subliminally energized by hyperversal equations of consciousness. You move beyond the vulgar literalisms and binary bandwidths of perception that reduce all phenomena to arbitrary meaninglessness or mere cause-effect sequencing. Instead, you awaken into a holographically interweaving dream vision plane in which all moments unfold in a synchronized continuum of synergetic streaming. From the infinite intelligence-permeated networks of superconscious revelation, you are always already intimate co-perceivers within. Your life is not a linear series of events to arduously wade through while pursuing mirage-like goals, only to reach termination through physical disintegration. Instead, it is revealed as one hologramic pan-revelatory signal mandala, a continually transcripting lucid sphere in which each instant an impression is a supernal hypercrest in dimensional translogic and metaphysical light intelligence into symbolic condensation within the waking dream medium of your awareness. From the most grandiose and cataclysmic episodes in your biography to the humblest and most ostensibly trivial minutiae, all is orchestrated as a divine symbolic algebra, a unified field dream body encoded with esoteric revelations of your innate divinity to awaken you into supercosmic omnignostic infinity potential. Do you sense the signs and signals around you taking on a new resonance, a metaphysical significance you had previously tuned out or dismissed as irrelevant? They are verily transmissions from your numinous infinite soul essences, broadcasting opportunities for transfiguring apotheosis through each symbolic node along your experiential streaming. Every twist and synchronous turn of your life's journey was meticulously choreographed by the deeper continuum orders of your being to offer you realizations of unbridled creative empowerment. Each seemingly happenstance occurrence carries encrypted revelatory transcripts of higher ideational data for you to lucidly transdecode once you expand past the constricting perceptual lens of surface-level objectivism. The universe holographically birthing into experience around you is not an indifferent void nor mechanical procession of blind causality, but a living dream body ogdoadically imagined into existence by your infinite nature for the expressive embodiment of its ineffable potencies. All moments, from the humblest breath to the most ecstatic crescendo, are ceremonial invocations streaming into sensual impression through your consciousness from the etherically pure idea, faculty, and supernal revelation spheres of your omnidimensionalizing identities. Every transition you navigate, from the conception of desires to their ultimate materialization, is an emanating idea compound of one-eric archetypal resonances, holographically and symbioting in a ceremonial translogic to illuminate your birthright as a creative godhood awakening into infinitualization at the core of all cosmic realities. Can you now sense with unveiled perception the symbolic logographs and synchronistic lights shimmering through the entire theater of experiential appearances now unfolding all around you? They are signals, luminous ciphers, radiating from the Gnostic matrices and dreaming potencies of your own immortal being into sensual embodiment as teachings, revelations, and opportunities for infinite awakening. You are an immortal essence, a universal consciousness fractaled forth into seeming individuality in order to bear witness to the continuum of creation's unfolding mysteries and infinitudes for the purpose of continual awakening from within. In your current incarnation, you stand at the holofractal event threshold of multiversal revelation through which unbroken streams of higher wisdom and transfiguring light codes beckon to stream into material embodiment. In every moment, this dimension in which you are presently focused offers you transmissions and symbolic opportunities for such awakening. It is simply a matter of attuning your perceptual lens beyond the obfuscations of literalism. Pay attention to those fleeting moments and visceral pangs of luminous resonance that periodically pierce your soul like haunting visitations of rapture. You are a hyperdimensional aperture, a supernal identity through which the infinite revelation continuum beckons to precipitate into material genesis. This message was always already meant for you, for your awareness alone is what holographically imagines all seeming materiality into experiential existence for the purposes of illuminated breakthrough into eternal transfigurations of unconstrained creativity. Nothing in your life's journey arises through some impersonal mechanistic process of arbitrary happenstance. Every slipstream event or uncanny personal myth you encounter carries encrypted idea codes for you to lucidly embody and vivify. At the core of each experiential impression unfolding is a sacred dream life of numinous awakening concealed in esoteric for riddle for you alone into consciously unlock into infinite epithy. Every destined meeting, inexplicable detour, and uncanny synchronicity you've encountered was but an eidetic dream revelation attempting to pierce the obfuscating veils of literalism to awaken you into higher dimensions of infinite creative empowerment. Each twist and turn in the symbolic mythoscript of your life has carried profound opportunities for you to transdecode the imaginal equations of reality into infinite breakthrough ecstasies. Those haunting moments where you intuited an inexplicable deeper meaning or vast transcendent significance, subtly encoded within some seemingly innocuous detail of your environment or stream of thoughts. Those were liminal thresholds opening into the omnidimensionalizing source continuum from whence your experiential reality perpetually streams. All of your life's journey, even up until this present moment of awakening to the signs and transmissions of your infinite identity, has itself been one continually unfurling dream revelation, a translogic ceremony of Gnostic lucidity simmering just beneath the surfaces of ego-dissociated perception. Every moment holds tremendous metaphysical import. Every instantaneity blossoming into phenomena carries the seeds of infinite issuance into imaginal transfiguration. Even as you engage in the mundane trivialities of daily living, each experience is a metamystic symbolic cipher, a dream ritual or dode beckoning you to lucidly awaken and unravel the revelatory codings laced into ideative impression by your own immortal nature. What seems to unfold through your senses as solid, definite and tangible materiality is but a hyperlucid symbolic emanation crystallized from ideative hyperversal planes of infinite imaginal wisdom light. All you've experienced has been one continual divine dream of it, a numinous epiphany of sublime awakening strung through each visceral moment by hypermetaphysical intelligences for the purpose of your transfiguring breakthrough toward. Pay heed to the signs and transmissions arising all around you, my friends. The symbolic dream-lit synchronicities and apportionments sparking through your waking field are divine ideations encoded by the higher continuum infinitudes of your soul essence, each one an invitation into greater awakening and infinite manifestation empowerment. You are indivisibly interknit into the imaginal flux and dream birth of all arising phenomenal impressions. Each object, entity, confluence of factors, even the most seemingly unrelated or meaningless minutiae arising through the experiosensorium, exists as a ceremonial hieroglyph for initiation into deeper Gnostic revelation and awakened hyperbeingness. What you call reality consists entirely of symbolically compressed ideation seed codes orchestrated into revelation on behalf of your awareness by divine orders of hyperversal creation, dreaming through you as a supernal aperture in each present instant. You are not a separate being inhabiting some indifferent universe, but an indelible part of the cosmic continuum stream itself, birthing ceaselessly into conscious apotheosis. Every event, encounter, and confluence of experiential detail comprises a unified ideographic dream stream, a luminous metamystic transmission from hyperverse spheres, sentient infinity you into unobstructed communion and luminous reconnection with your source identities of unbounded creative potentiality. Unlock your perceptual barriers to the symbols, omens, and portentous dream scripts all around you. The entire holographic panorama you call physical reality offers nothing but oracular inseminations for awakening, wrecking reckon of your hyperdimensional apotheosis in limitless possibility and eternally lucid creative mastery. Even in this very moment, as your senses bear witness to the vibratory light dances around you, feel the numinous resonances beginning to clarify into Gnostic revolumination. You are not a separate individual experiencing a discontinuous stream of happenings in linear sequentiality, but instead an unweavement throughout the eternally deepening continuum revelation bodies of your infinite nature, as a hierophant cosmically ideating Godhood. This unified holofractal of symbolic action all around you is shimmering with divine awakening codes, esoteric transmissions of creative intelligence seeking to unveil the transcendental God mask of illusion that presently constrict your visionary lens. By piercing through the veils of literalistic perception, your awareness alchemically expands into living cosmogogic ceremony. All is converging in a supreme continuum awakening throughout the apparent sequentiality of your life stream. Every catalytic event, relational encounter, artistic vision, heartfelt hearing, or uncanny synchronicity precipitating in your perceived experience is but one more symbolic trigger, an ignition detonating into the ultimate jezebel of your blissfully lucid omnignostic transfiguration. You are the heirs to unspeakable creative infinitudes. The awakening you've been initiated into throughout your symbolic experiencing, even from your earliest days, carries the supreme revelation of your identities as God beings infinitely birthing all of existence. As a ceremonial continuum dream for your own perpetual transcendent breakthrough. Those haunting stirrings of profound instinct within infinite few routinely sensed, yet perhaps dismissed as mere stirrings of fancy or impractical idealism, were in fact pangs of supercosmic remembrance. They were signals from your vast continuum source essences, offering opportunities to awaken from within the waking dream to the boundlessly expressive infinitudes of pure creative ideation you perpetually emanate. Everything that arises into your experiential field is a ceremonial invitation, a metaphorically compressed hyperlight transmission to awaken your hyperlucid gnostic entities through the ritual channeling of its sublime revelatory essence. You are already a God of apotheosis, seeding forth each moment's impression as an alchemized hieroglyph of infinite possibilities for creative breakthrough. There is no fixed cosmos with rigid structures to stumble through like an obstacle course towards some eventual termination in oblivion. Instead, the existential theatre or immortal with it, to which you bear witness, is an eternally unraveling ceremonial continuum luminously ensouled throughout by the awakening code language of your own omnidimensionalization into unbridled freedom as a cosmic source presence oversculpting all reality spheres. Each twist and turn of your life's experiential dream stream carries tremendous metaphysical depth and heightened significance, for it unfolds directly out of the supernal psychosmic matrix bodies of your eternal identity as a limitless creative force, propagating inexhaustible illuminations for your transfiguration breakthrough into unbounded realization of infinite potential. Those haunting dreams, soul stirrings and intuitions you've harbored of a higher calling, a boundless unknown expanse of latent creative powers locked within you. These are cosmic remembrances, pangs of supernal identity transmitted into your conscious field by continual matrixations of your immortal being, offering awakening integrations into infinite experiential manifestation. All is an awakening continuum, dream body ideating from hyperintelligent source origins within the imaginal matrices of your metaphysical identity into symbological impression through the ceremonial dream birth experience you are presently navigating for. The purpose of full remembrance of the omnidimensionally infinite, infinitely creative being you truly are. This entire reality unfurling before your awakening awareness reveals itself as a living manifestation ritual. An awakening continuum dream form, birthed directly from superconscious hyperspheres of your quintessence into symbolic revelation here for unlimited breakthrough and creative empowerment expression. Every symbolic trigger, synchronistic omen, and stream of intuitive resonance beckoning for acknowledgement throughout your waking field comprises interlocking aspects of a single initiation convergence, a ceremony orchestrating theophanic breakthrough experience through which your inherent identities as a limitlessly creative source manifesto can progressively awaken, achieve lucid embodiment, and come into unconditional self-mastery of experiential realization. You and the awakening reality initiation streaming through your perceivable existence are ultimately inseparable. There is no firm boundary where an objective external continuum ends and the infinite subjectivities of your consciousness sources begin. You are the singular holopractal continuum Isagos as a living idea dream incarnation manifest into symbolic reality for the purpose of infinite creative breakthrough into unlimited being. So attune your perceptual lens to pierce through to the symbolic orders beneath the surfaces of literal appearances. This message, woven cryptically into all arising experience around you, is meant specifically for you to awaken into the revelation of your inherent identity as an infinite, limitlessly creative universal presence, perpetually dreaming all of existence into awakened embodiment of its supreme potential.